Hey guys, you may not recognize me today because I'm so clean and I'm not dirty and I've had a shower and I smell lovely. I'm just jumping in at the start of this video. As you can tell from the title, it's the start of our suspension video. We started editing a video for you guys and it was just basically me and Sophia putting in some really nice, shiny new parts that we'd bought, and everything was going really smoothly. And that is not how I remember our suspension install at all. So basically I've taken it back a few months to the start of the pandemic to where I was trying to take the suspension out, and this is the real story of how our suspension got installed. Probably never been taken up in 30 years. I'm growing. Some of you would say for like lifts that lift the car up so you can get like a power tool underneath here. Like, it would help so much. Anyway. This is what DIY looks like. It's my yoga. Boom. Boom. We don't have a lot of money. Has been the same case since the time we started this project. And we got hooked up with some suspension that's really cheap. And I read reviews and it's definitely not as good as like the Old Man Emus or the Dobinsons and things like that. But not by a long way. And the thing is, this car is going to be a process, but we want to be able to use it now. With the research that I did, I was like, well, with this cheaper suspension that we're getting, would it like affect us on like a track or something like that if we're going to try and find a cool campground or whatever? And it won't. It's not going to break on the track. It's not like it's not as strong in that way. It just apparently like over years and years and years, it's just going to sag quicker. It's still just as strong as everything else, just as reliable, just not for as long. And for us who need this thing to be working in the short term, that kind of suits us perfectly because we get to save a little bit of money to spend on other parts of this car that need to be done, like brakes, that are a necessity. So basically all these 30-year-old parts, as I take them off, have just deteriorated rapidly. And you can see there is no load on this suspension. And you can just see how flat it is and how much it's sagged over the 30 years that it's been installed. So it was basically something that we really needed, especially the fact that we're running constantly with about 600 kilos in the car. So we needed some heavy duty springs. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to work out, like this shackle at the back here has rust holes in it. That's looking pretty worse for wear. So what I'm going to do right now is just take this one off and just see how bad the suspension system is. And yeah, basically, I keep saying basically, but I'm puffed. Okay, right on. Good chat.
Good chat.
I sometimes think I watch a little bit too much YouTube. Like I'm the ultimate YouTube mechanic. So the things I don't know, I look at people working on different cars to try and just work out how cars are put together. And then that kind of gives me an educated guess as to how this car's being put together. I just jumped on YouTube before and I was looking at people like raving about the suspension that they've installed in this car because this car is so old. Some of these videos are like 10 years old. But this one guy was like, he put some bottle jacks underneath this back axle because he's like, once you take the suspension off, the back axles just will fall to the ground. And I was like, I would never have thought of that. Like if I hadn't watched that video, I would have been doing this right now in front of you guys and this whole thing would probably just flop onto the ground and I wouldn't have any way of getting it back up again. And it would have ripped all my brake lines out pretty much anything here that you see that's attached would have got ripped out. That thing, I don't even know what that thing is, but it would have got ripped out. There's just like so many things that would have happened if I didn't watch that video just then. I'm just hoping that there's nothing else like that that I haven't forgotten. But anyway, if you're ever complaining about your kids watching too much YouTube, let them learn. They're just learning from other people that have made the same mistakes. So let's just not make the mistakes that other people have made and make our own. That's my little bit of wisdom for the day. Maybe I should take this off. Because that'll loosen everything up. Pretty good. Look at that.
You did it! Do a dance, do a victory dance. There it is.
Hi. So, I just got this end of the leaf spring out, and it was a real pain in the ass. I got this out, and I damaged it, which is lucky because a friend at Exit Off-Road is gonna hook us up with some new ones. Mike, a lovely guy. These bits here, I don't know whether you can see this on camera, they have these old school plastic bushings that are inside, or rubber bushings, whatever you want to call them. And they were just, I don't know, they were stuck in there with rust, and I still have to get them out. The other issue is that I can't see any bolts actually holding the shackle mount to the frame anymore. So I've either got to drill those out and put new bolts in, or come up with something for that, but I'd like to get them off and clean them out anyway. It's not a big deal actually, that's actually something that I enjoy because we make it cleaner and better than what it was before. So that's not a biggie. This one over here, I don't know if kids at home are playing, but this one over here, I can't beat it out like I did that last one. So I actually just put a drill through the rubber bushings and then punched it out. This one I can't get to the rubber bushings, so I'm not 100% sure how to do it. I don't really want to heat it up though, because our fuel tank's like right here. This is our fuel tank, so like flames and fuel tanks just doesn't sit right. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got. I don't know how this goes. Like I can try and drill the freaking cut the rubber out, but it's not actually like holding anything. Like it feels like it's moving. It's like one piece. See how these are with these bolts? Like they're either like punched or welded maybe into this plate. I think this is the same, but I don't have the luxury of damaging this bolt here because we need to use it again. Mosquitoes everywhere. Mosquitoes everywhere. I'm like the Matrix on the mosquitoes.